It's summer! If you watched my recent TBR, you won't be surprised by what I've started reading. That's right, problematic summer romance. I am not very far in at all, but I have started it. Let's get into it. Hey book fans, welcome back to my channel. I'm Freak Angel and I read a bit. And yeah, since it's July and I'm on vacation, I've started Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood. Ali Hazelwood's like an auto-buy author for me. I basically read all her stuff at this point, even though some of the last couple have not been my favorite of her works. I certainly haven't actually hated them either, not even Deep End, which a lot of people didn't like, so, it was disappointing, but I didn't hate it. Anyways, I started Problematic Summer Romance this evening, and honestly, I think I'm gonna have a good time with it. Listen, hear me out, okay? It's age gap, but it's not like super weird for some reason. I don't know, maybe it gets weird later, maybe I'll eat my words, maybe I'll change my mind. I'm on page like 42, so I've read the first couple chapters, and I didn't realize that this was kind of like in a series with Not in Love. Let's be real, I kind of forgot that Not in Love even existed. My bad, my bad, sorry. But yeah, when I was thinking of recent Ali Hazelwood releases, I didn't even think of that one, even though it only came out last year. And yeah, so this is the sister of the main guy from Not in Love, and she's interested in his best friend. And he's a fairly older sibling, so his best friend's like a year older than him. I'm pretty sure their age gap is like 15 years or something. She's 23 and he's like 38. Hear me out, okay? Because I had a lot of issues with Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas, which has a similar kind of age gap. I think theirs is like 18 or 19 years. She had just turned 19 when they started their little whatever, and he was like 38. And that one didn't work for me. Now, I will say, when I was reading the book, I was totally on team Bang the Dad. All right, it's that one situation is like the ex-boyfriend's dad, like her boyfriend cheated on her, but they were living with his dad, and when they broke up because of the cheating, she's the one who ends up staying living with the dad because the situation's messy. Yeah, yeah, I was still on team bang the dad, but when they did the deed, I didn't you didn't necessarily need to tell me everything you did for me to know what you did. I don't know, I kind of got the ick from it, and I feel like it was the age gap, but maybe it was just the book, maybe just that one wasn't for me. But when we get into like fantasy and romantasy kind of situations, yeah, age gaps don't bother me at all. He a vampire, he 400, she's 24. Who cares? It's totally fine. Listen, listen. This is a situation where she's been kind of pining for him for like 2 or 3 years already. And I think that it doesn't excuse it, but it seems a lot less like creepy, predatory, like older guy preying on younger girl when she's the one who's been pining for him. However, I'm not very far in these first couple chapters, like nothing's happened, they are not together, but they're going to her brother's wedding. So like the wedding of the couple from Not in Love. So it's fun. We're getting some recurring characters. We're getting, a little blast from the past with that kind of situation. Plus, it's a wedding setting. That's fun. Wedding setting, age gap, summer fling. I'm assuming, I mean, it's called problematic summer romance. So, yeah. But it seems like there's some drama in their past. Apparently, they had been like good friends or talking all the time, like basically considered each other to be kind of like best friends, and then he dropped the friendship hard, and it seems like it's because of the person he was dating at that time. Recent development from where I left off is that they've actually, they're not still together, they've been broken up for a few months, so it seems like he is single and available. Perhaps. Also, because we're at the wedding of that couple, we also get some of that couple's friends from that first book, Not in Love. And yeah, some of those friends are, there's a really snarky lawyer character who I'm glad she's here at this wedding. And it seems like her and the sister are main character in this one. What's her name? Maya? I think her name's Maya. Something like that. I'll know her name in the next update. I swear. I swear. I'm such a mess. Look, names are hard for me, okay? It's fine. It's fine. Anyways, yeah, we're totally reading this. It's the first week of July. It's a fun little summer romance, and hopefully I really enjoy it. I get the feeling this one's gonna be one that has me like giggling and kicking my feet. I really hope it is. I'm gonna be so sad. It's a letdown. Anyways, I'll be back to you after I've read more. Okay. Just a tiny little update. I've only read like one more chapter, so barely anything. But this chapter was a flashback of just a couple years, and I think we got a taste of how Maya and Connor's like friendship kind of began. Yeah, his name's Connor Harkness. His friends call him Hark. Most people call him Hark. She calls him Connor because, it's special that she uses his name when nobody else does. And I think her name is Maya, Maya, because like there was a phone call and they were expecting to hear from Mayor, but she said Maya and it was automatically assumed she was part of like the Mayor party. I'm gonna end up calling her Maya. Let's be so for real. I'm so gonna end up saying Maya, but it is what it is. Anyways, she had gone through a dramatic, terrible breakup where her ex is like hooking up with her roommate slash best friend. And they're like a couple now, and it's all taking place like in her apartment, and she has to see all that crap. And it's been like a few days, maybe a week, and she's kind of freaking out about it, and she's like trying to call her brother, but he just got on a flight to like, I don't know, Australia or something, like a 20-hour flight, so she's not going to be able to reach him, but his office puts her through to Connor. And he can tell that she's crying. So of course, being like Big Brother's best friend, he's all like, "Wait, why are you crying? What's going on?" Blah 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 blah. And yeah, she ends up kind of venting to him, and they have a little like almost like a moment where he realizes she's an adult and not a child. And she ends up hanging up on him and going to like the library to study, goes back to her apartment relatively late, and is kind of hoping that her roommate and ex will be in bed. And she comes in and they not, but someone else is in her apartment. Who is it? Who is it? Yeah, you already know. You already know. It's Connor. So, and she was going to school abroad, so I don't think she was expecting him to show up like in the country, even, let alone in her apartment. I mean, at this point, they didn't really know each other. Like, she knew who he was. They were virtually like strangers. Yeah, and then the chapter ends. So that's where I am. I'm really not much further, but yeah, I'm liking getting the backstory because even though they didn't have a former relationship, it's almost got that kind of second chance vibe, which isn't usually my favorite, but I don't know. I don't know. I feel like this one's gonna work. I feel like this one's gonna work for me. We'll see, because it seems to be a big crux of the problem is that the age gap be age gapping, but we don't really know yet. It's still early pages, but yeah, I'll give you an update after I've read a bit more. Okay, guys, okay, I'm like halfway through this book, so I had to give you guys a little bit of an update, and yeah, I don't know how sold I am on what this romance is going to be. However, I am totally into it. Here's the thing. Okay, Maya, she's so relatable. I mean, it's just, if I put myself in her situation, I totally would have fallen for this guy too. Here's the thing, okay? We only have her perspective, we don't get his, but it's blatantly obvious that he's obsessed with her and has been obsessing over her for these, past few years, like she's been obsessing over him, and he just won't admit it to her or possibly to himself, but yeah. Yeah, it's blatantly obvious that he's like so into her and he's just like totally simping for her even though they're not together. Now, they did have a little something happen like 3 years ago in the past timeline. Because, okay, here's the thing with this book, right? The book starts, it's 7 days before the wedding. It's a destination wedding. He's going to be there, she's going to be there, you know. And then we also have the past timeline of a little over 3 years ago when their like friendship started and her obsession with him started. But it's not like nothing happened, okay? Like they didn't fully hook up like a little over a day after he showed up to play White Knight, fake dating guy for her, which let's be so for real, I would have totally fallen for him for that anyways. Like did I even explain that? Where did we leave off? Okay. So he showed up to her apartment with her crappy situation with her ex and her roommate, who I was incorrect was not her best friend. It was her best friend's cousin, but like they were also friends, right? Totally skeezy. Pretty obvious that he was cheating with her, but yeah, they didn't admit to that. Anyway, he showed up and he like played fake dating with her to like help her through this situation and crappy time with her friends, and this is what led to their friendship. But some stuff happened, like a day after he showed up. Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't a full hookup, but it's not like nothing happened. She is justified in having had a crush and like she was 20, just finishing her bachelor's in physics. She's now like, a postgraduate 23-year-old, and they had this like long-standing friendship, flirtation, whatever. It's blatantly obvious that they're both attracted to each other. And then he dropped their friendship, like totally ghosted out, like absolute dick move kind of thing. So she's right to be mad, totally right to be mad. But given the situation, if I was her, age 20 to 23, yeah, yeah, I would have been on this man's hook. Like he would have totally had me on the hook. I would have fallen for him absolutely without a doubt. Older brother's best friend. He's like 15 years older than her, and the friends in this past timeline at first are skeptical about this like older guy who she's randomly suddenly dating just after their breakup. And her friends are right to be skeptical, but she's also right to kind of ignore their warnings because it's a fake relationship. Which, oh my god, I love fake dating in books. I love fake dating in books. It's a romance trope that works for me. Yeah. Yeah, I'm having fun with this, totally having a good time. I don't know if Connor's gonna turn out to be like a new favorite book boyfriend or anything like that, but it's absolutely a fun read so far. I mean, destination wedding, but he's got multiple exes at this wedding. Like he works with a couple of his exes. There's also another woman that was speculated to be an ex, but she's not. She's not. She's not. But in terms of like chaotic, messy nonsense, in terms of her like crush and this former friendship, flirtation, clearly the love interest of the book kind of situation. Yeah, it's messy. It's messy from her perspective, but these two exes, like one of them is also one of the best friends of, the friend group of her brother and Connor, and I think her name's like Minimi. And yeah, yeah, she was in that first book, Not in Love, as well. So she's a recurring character, but also his more recent ex is also there. And we have a few moments where we get to experience like kind of like jealousy, like, the feelings of, well, they were together before, all their friends think they're gonna get back together, and oh, they were so good together. And yeah, our main girl gets to be a little jealous at these moments, thinking that that's gonna be something, but It's not. They're colleagues, they work together, and they're friends, and this is something that she has to accept. I don't know. It's an interesting and potentially very messy dynamic for this wedding, and I'm really enjoying getting the past storyline because honestly, yeah, it feels really, really relatable as a like kind of situation. Not the him being like super, super rich and the age gap even necessarily, but just like I don't know, just thinking back to when I was that age, yeah, I would have followed for this guy 100%. 100%. None of my friends would have talked me out of it. And yeah, 3 years later, I probably would have still been on the hook for this guy if he ever like reappeared into my life. So it's kind of like, it's just like, I get it, you know? Like, it just it feels relatable. Anyway, it's getting closer to the wedding, so as we go through the book, it's like 7 days before the wedding. And then we get a bit of storyline and a little bit of back storyline. Then it's like 6 days before the wedding. Then we get the next day leading up to the wedding, like at the resort. It's not necessarily a resort, it's more like a little Italian villa kind of situation, but very fancy and beautiful sounding. And then we get a bit more of the past storyline. So we're approaching the wedding, but we're also learning about the past between Maya and Connor. Yeah. Yeah, I'm enjoying the past storyline. I'm enjoying seeing how her feelings for him develop beyond just him being like very attractive. So we're gonna see where this goes. We're gonna see how this wedding unfolds, and yeah, I'll give you another update as I know more. But it's fun. It's definitely a fun little summer romp, which is totally what I was in the mood for. Okay, so I've only got like 100-ish pages left, just under 100, something like that. And things are getting so real. We are finally gonna find out what happened 10 months ago to like ruin their flirty little friendship non-relationship. That's the chapter I'm at now. It's like 10 months ago. In terms of our present storyline, the lead up to the wedding, we're just a couple of days left and everything is going wrong. They're like uttering about the wedding being cursed, you know. First, everyone got food poisoning. Then a whole bunch of stuff happened, including like the dress isn't there, people who are supposed to be there aren't there, the wedding planners gotta cancel, a volcano erupted, canceling a bunch of flights. Like everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. However, things are heating up between our little non couple. They still haven't like fully hooked up, but they've had some spicy action. There's something about the dynamic of the relationship that I'm not sure if I'm totally sold on. And honestly, no, it's not even the relationship. Honestly, I like the potential relationship. I'm just not sure how much I like her. I mean, she's quirky and funny and stuff some of the time, but she has a serious anger management problem. She acknowledges it, she's working on it, she's in therapy, all this stuff. So like I'm trying not to judge her too hard for it, but like there's some serious anger management problems here. But yeah, we've gotten more of their past like friendship stories and stuff, and I'm so serious when I say it's like completely relatable. Not that I've lived a life like this or had this particular experience, but I am telling you, if I was in that girl's situation when I was around that age, I absolutely would have fallen for this man and been like kept on the hook by him. But in terms of the present day, things are finally starting to get revealed. People are starting to clue into the fact that yeah, there's some feelings there and it's on both sides, and maybe it's more than feelings, maybe there's something going on. Maybe one of these exes is a little bit hurt by this revelation, and her brother, yeah, her brother just realized this wasn't just some little crush that she had, that there's a little more to this. But you know, it's kind of weird for him because like that's his best friend, and as funny as it is him being the older guy and her being his like little sister, his immediate concern is like Like, are you gonna break his heart kind of thing? Like, are you gonna hurt my friend? Which, there's part of me that's like, hey man, you should be like, worried about him hurting your sister. But there's another part of me that's like, oh, yeah, yeah, that's so for real. Because this guy is like so closed off from everyone. But her, like I said, we don't have his point of view, so we don't know it for sure. But his actions throughout the telling of their past and in the present storylines just scream that he's been like pining and simping for her for, this whole 3 years for sure. Yeah. Yeah. So I've got like 100 pages left. I'm gonna go finish this book. I'll let you know my thoughts at the end. I finished it. It's been raining all night, but it's like a warm summer night. I've got the window open. I've been listening to the rain while I finished out this cute little summer romance. So I'm sorry if you can hear like the wind or the little bit of rain in the background. I don't know if it's being picked up or not, but warm summer nights. It is what it is. I thought this was really cute, and I did enjoy the dynamic of their relationship in the end. However, this is not like a new favorite book boyfriend for me, unfortunately. I did have a really good time with it. It was a really fun, quick, easy, just, I don't know, it just had the summer vibes that I was looking for. Destination wedding at a little like Italian villa. Oh, it was so cute. And ultimately, the whole like issue that caused their friendship to end, oh, it was so stupid. It was so stupid. Like, okay, we did not have a third act breakup, thankfully, but it felt like a third act breakup because even though it was in the past timeline, its placement in the book, like around 3/4 of the way in, yeah, it kind of felt like that, and it was over like nothing. I mean, it wasn't nothing. It was a legitimate concern, but uh, I don't know. I would have been annoyed if I was her too. Like, that's what I mean is while this isn't necessarily like my favorite romance ever, I totally understood where our girl was coming from because yeah, I would have absolutely been hung up on this guy if I was in her position. And the whole big thing that caused their friendship to like fall apart was basically her brother, his best friend, happened to mention that like, she hadn't been dating anyone in the past few years. It was related to some like, physics guy and like, oh, should we introduce them kind of thing. Anyways, it caused him to realize that she's missing out on like life experiences by not seeing other people if she's hung up on him. So he was like, nope, this gotta be done. We gotta cut ties. You're moving country for like school. It's kind of like a good thing. And she told him, how she actually felt, and he wouldn't budge on his position, and she was like, well, no, kindly fuck off. And he did for the whole like 10-month gap. So he didn't really ghost out as bad as it seemed. It was more like they had a big fight falling out and didn't reconcile it. But yeah, the circumstances of this cursed wedding did push them back into each other's lives, which, we love that. Fun, fun. It was really annoying though when they were like fooling around in the lead up to the wedding and they were getting spicy, but he would like refuse to kiss her. That was so frustrating. Like, dude, you're like inside her. Come on. Come on. That was annoying. Yeah. Yeah. Really irritating. But the wedding itself, that didn't happen as planned at all due to all the cursed nature of the wedding. They ended up having a tiny, tiny little ceremony at sunrise in this like it's not a private garden, but it wasn't yet open to the public, so for their purposes, it was a private garden, and it was just like our couple from Not in Love who were getting married, this Italian dude who like officiated it for them, and our main girly and guy from this book. So Maya and Connor, because she had to be there being the sister, and he had to be there being the best friend and the best man, and two witnesses and all that. It just worked out. So they had had another kind of like hookup the night before this sunrise, unexpected early wedding. And then they had had a fight, and she had basically like decided she was swearing him off. She was like done with his pseudo games. But then this little morning wedding thing happened, and our bride and groom wanted to get back to the villa and start their honeymoon, so to speak. So our main girl Maya, she was like, well, if there's not like a party or anything going on back at the villa, I'm gonna stay here and just like check out the gardens for a while. And her brother, being protective, was kind of like, ooh, I don't know. But Connor's just like, I'll stay. I'll stay. I'll visit the gardens, you know. And then that's when they finally get over their bullshit and they get together. And he finally actually kisses her. So it's like, God, 3 years and finally you've done all this other stuff and shared all this intimate stuff and you hadn't kissed, like, finally, in this beautiful garden early in the morning. And then a bunch of other stuff goes down, like them developing their relationship together and the dynamics of overcoming all the issues that they were facing. Because you know what? Those issues didn't go away. They still have their ridiculous age gaps. They're still at different points in their life. They still have to navigate the shared people in their lives. So, yeah, there's a lot of talking and discussion and moving forward. Look, there's other stuff that happens in this book, although I've spoiled basically the entire main plot, but you know, they have to hunt for a missing dog at one point, and they end up back together in their hometown. And our main girly Maya, she changes her career path in this book too. Like, you know, there's other stuff, but yeah, that's the gist of it. Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood. Cute, fun little summer read. I had a really good time with it. And honestly, like, I generally enjoy Ali Hazelwood's books, and this is no exception. I haven't really fully settled on a rating yet. I want to let it simmer with me. Maybe I'll decide when I wake up. But I'm leaning to somewhere around a 4, most likely, for this one. Yeah. Let me know down in the comments if you've read this or any of Ali Hazelwood's other books, or if you have any recommendations for other good summer reads, let me know in the comments. I'm always open to hearing about awesome books. And if you like the video, be sure to give it a like. It really helps the channel out. And subscribe for more bookish content to come in the future. I'd love to have you here. Bye bye.